Hey y'all, I'm Brooke Hoover, a Louisiana native, actor, writer, and comedian. I've lost 100 pounds through diet and exercise, or shall I say, lifestyle changes. My 20-year and counting health journey has taught me that just like taking a diet pill for weight loss, body positivity doesn't magically happen overnight. I'm working on regaining my self-esteem and rekindling my love affair with Cajun and Southern comfort food in a healthier way, all the while juggling eating as clean as I can, reestablishing myself in the entertainment industry, which, as we know, is historically fat-phobic, all the while showing my inner fat girl some love. That's fat with a PH. Pretty hot and tempting. Let me tell y'all a tale or two. Hey y'all, in honor of my approaching birthday on July 28th, same birthday as Jackie O and Sally Struthers, I want to talk to y'all about something near and dear to me. I was thinking, what makes me really happy? What's something I love? I love flamingos, but I really, really, really love and have always been in awe of mermaids. And also we're going to talk about subject matter of what are the stories we tell ourselves? Are there different versions of these stories that we tell ourselves versus what other people say about us versus what the negative part of our heads tell us versus what the positive parts of our heads could be telling us? What are these stories? So growing up, there was a story I really loved, and it's The Little Mermaid, but it's not the Disney version. Yes, I did watch the Disney version, but the one I watched on repeat was the Japanime version of Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid, and it really shook me to the core. Does anybody out there remember it? It's definitely not Disney-fied happy ending at all, because so Marina, the Little Mermaid, the OG Little Mermaid, she dies at the end. The good girl, the good Gil, dies at the end because the prince is too damn stupid to see that she's his true love, and she ends up turning into foam and dust and ends up in the ether. And at the very end of the movie, it cuts back to real people, and we see a statue in Denmark of a mermaid in her honor. And one day, I always said this ever since I was little, and I still mean it, I'm going to make a pilgrimage to Denmark to go see the Little Mermaid statue. But I just remember walking around my house crying, at the age of 3 or 4, and really learning quickly that life was not fair. Then about a decade later, the Disney version comes out, and the ending, of course, does not end in death for the good guy. Of course, Ursula, it's bye Felicia to her, but she's a bad woman. But Ariel ends up becoming a human, so she can live her life with Prince Eric. And hey, if it were up to me, y'all, I would have stayed a mermaid. But you know what? I digress. The point is, I love mermaids. They have seashells that cover their boobs. They can swim without ever needing to come up and catch a breath, and their hair is always perfect despite the overload of salt water. And in 5th grade, when I was 10, even despite a somewhat traumatic event 2 Halloweens prior when I was called out on being fat and my underwear was showing in my beloved Genie harem girl costume, I still despite all that, told Mama, I want to be a mermaid this year. And I probably told her that around the time of my birthday, because summertime is when we started planning out my Halloween costumes, because Mama always made my Halloween costumes and we needed several months to plan, baby. That's Mama's voice. For those of y'all who know, Mama, that is a caricature of her voice. It's not really her voice. Except this time around, Mama couldn't make the mermaid costume. She goes, baby, this is a costume I simply cannot make. It's going to be too difficult. So we had to enlist the help of a family friend, Miss Jan, who was also an expert seamstress. And so I'm 10 years old. I had just turned 10, July 28th, and I was in my full prime of baby fat, turning into preteen fat and kind of getting boobs. But I didn't care about all that. I still just really wanted to be a mermaid. I didn't think about any of the potential consequences. I wanted to redeem myself from that genie costume fiasco when two of my quote unquote friends made fun of me. I wanted to be a mermaid and free, just like Ariel and her predecessor, Marina, the real Little Mermaid. But the costume pattern that Mama and Jan found, it involved like a full body flesh tone leotard top. Like, for God's sakes, it was a long sleeve mermaid costume. What the hell? And on top of the flesh tone leotard thing, that's where the padded seashells go. So I'm not wearing like a bikini top like I had thought maybe I could. And then the tail is attached to the leotard, much like you're wearing almost like a dress or like a skirt type of thing. And so in my mind, my self-conscious 10-year-old self says, well, I must not be able to wear a bikini top and show my stomach because I'm fat. Because Mama realizes that those kids made fun of me when I exposed my stomach as a harem girl genie 2 years ago. So I'm fat, I'm wrong, and I'm relegated to a almost matronly mermaid costume. Again, this is the story that I told myself. So even though when we found the perfect fabric, y'all, for the tail and seashell boobs, it was like a needle in a haystack at Hancock Fabrics on Drusilla Lane one sweaty summer August morning in Baton Rouge, I kept focusing on I have to wear long sleeves and not show my stomach because I'm fat. I'm wrong. Something's wrong with me. But I just really still wanted to be a mermaid, so I was going through with it. I was going through with this costume that I didn't want to wear. And hey, nowadays as an actor, there's been plenty of times that I've worn costumes that I did not want to wear, that were not flattering, if you will, and I just had to roll with it. Okay, so cut to Halloween 1990. Wear your Halloween costume to school day. So that morning I even dyed with the spray my hair pink. And it was pink because I didn't want to quite be Ariel. I wanted to be like one of her sisters maybe, and pink is my favorite color. But I just felt like my hair looked stupid, like a train wreck. I felt like I was like a little kid, like a girl, not yet a woman. Thank you, Britney Spears, who's from Kentwood, Louisiana. Hey, girl. Talk about somebody who redeemed herself. Yes. I was too uncomfortable to wear a bikini top, if that would have even been an option given to me. See, I just wanted it to be an option. I felt trapped. And mermaids are supposed to be free and flowy. The story I kept telling myself was, I am too fat to wear a regular mermaid costume. Whatever a regular mermaid costume is, I don't know. But so looking back, and on my Instagram, I will be posting a picture of it. So y'all go follow me there at Brooke Hoover. And the O's are not the letter O, but there's zeros. So go follow me there for the photo. But looking back at that photo, I realized that the costume was really fabulous. Looking back, I tried to remember that moment of when Mama and I found the perfect fabric for the mermaid tail and shells at Hancock Fabrics. It's like a sleek, silvery green with little baby minuscule drawings of fins. It was perfect, y'all. Again, go look at the photo. The photo won't do it justice. I want to remember that moment more. But in my body, what I remember most is how shy and awkward and stupid I felt. The whole time, my 10-year-old self was thinking, did I make a bad choice? Should I have just picked another kind of run-of-the-mill costume? But as we know, Mama and Brooke, we never did run-of-the-mill Halloween costumes. This was the whole story going on in my head. I should have realized how cool and awesome I looked, despite all my fear. I wish I had just worked with what I had going for me. Because again, now looking back, like 30 years later, I'm like, dude, this was so cool, Brooke. All right, so sidebar. I just finished reading Selma Blair's memoir, Mean Baby. Highly recommend it. And in it, she quotes Joan Didion. It says, there's a point where you go with what you got or you don't go. And I couldn't agree more with that in this instance of the mermaid costume. I mean, I just didn't go full throttle at all. So to add to Joan Didion's quote, I want to say, let's make it a little bit more Phat Girl, shall we, y'all? There's a point where you go balls to the walls with what you got, or you don't go. Like, go big or go home is kind of what I'm saying here. But sometimes you can't always go big, So Joan Didion's saying, go with what you got. Oh, so much to think about, y'all. So much to think about. So many mermaid tails to want to wear. But nowadays, I just wish I still had that costume. I don't know what happened to it. It symbolized the point of me going from a girl to a teenager in so many different ways. And at the time, it just felt like a trap. And I think that's how young girls feel at that kind of preteen era. We want to feel loose and free as a young kid, but we can't because those dampers of society and the negative talk is already starting to happen. Oy. Looking back, y'all, I realized that it was actually, the mermaid costume was maybe arguably one of the best Halloween costumes that I ever had. And no offense to Mama, because every single costume Mama made was fabulous. So I'm not saying that this was because Mama didn't make it. Mama totally designed it. She just didn't stitch it. Miss Jan did. But to give y'all an idea of the mermaid costume without going to look at the picture on my Instagram of it, it was similar to the one Cher wears in one of my favorite movies, Mermaids. Fabulous. Love Cher. I was trying to talk like Cher right there. I love to be a mermaid. No, I don't. That's not a good Cher impersonation. But y'all, shortly thereafter, the kids at school would start to call me Ursula. And it wasn't from wearing the mermaid costume. I ended up going to a different school, a school where the kids, I went from like a hippy dippy sweet school to like a very preppy school of perfection, and I stuck out like a sore thumb. So that's where I started getting called Ursula, because how dare I want to be a mermaid? I'm supposed to be the huge giant who happens to be fat. Yeah, she is. Grotesque sea witch. That's the story I put in my head because I let those other people, those bastard kids, put it in my head for me. And nowadays, hey, y'all, I would give my voice up where they walk, if we will. You know what I mean? Because the Little Mermaid gives her voice. I would give my voice to be Ursula in a play, a movie, or a TV show. Because, hey, she's awesome. She's fierce. She's fun. She's cool. And it's up to us to make her the sexy, the pretty, the in charge Ursula instead of, I'm the fat girl, so I got relegated to being Ursula. No, it is up to us to flip that story. This is a metaphor. Substitute that Ursula however you want, y'all. I'm not going to be relegated to being a crappy mermaid or an ugly sea witch. I'm not going to let someone else tell my story. And I'm especially for this year coming forward, this new year of birth, if you will, I'm going to tell myself, I'm especially not going to let my own negative voice tell a story that my heart is not writing for me. That's what I'm telling myself going forward for this birthday. Hey. Now, recently talking with Mama about the mermaid costume, I said, Mama, y'all made me wear a long sleeve mermaid costume because y'all were afraid for me to show my stomach and my fat. It was because I was fat, right? And Mama goes, no, baby, we didn't want you to show your skin because you would have gotten in trouble at school showing that much skin. That's why we did a leotard long sleeve mermaid costume, baby. So, see, y'all, for nearly 30 years, I told myself a story that didn't even need to exist, that wasn't even true. So let's go out there and be like Joan Didion, Selma Blair, and the Little Mermaid, and let's go out and make our own stories. Thanks so much for listening, y'all. It is my hope to inspire, uplift, and entertain you with this Who's Dat Fat Girl podcast. So, If you're hungry for more, you can book me to speak or perform my solo show that inspired this podcast, Phat Girl Costumes, written by yours truly and directed by Brian Lady at your virtual or in-person event. Please visit brookehoover.com/fluffybuttproductions or email me at contactbrookhoover@gmail.com for more info. And let's follow each other on Instagram. I'm at Brooke Hoover, and the O's in my name are not the letter O, they're zeros. Not because I want to be a size 0, but because I guess I'm just so clever with my late 90s Yahoo self. And if you like this podcast, which I really hope you do, please give me a 5-star rating and write a review on Apple Podcasts. And most importantly, share this with your friends, family, and other people you may know who are as fat as we are. That's fat with a PH.